Hi, Sonia here, and I am going to make some homemade shampoos. So here is the scoop. I actually make organic skincare. So if you're watching this, it's because you've probably already liked my page, or I may actually run it as an ad, which means you might be seeing this just because it came out by on your page. So if you did, and you like to learn or to learn new homemade recipes for skin, hair care, body care, go like my page. This page, Just Botanicals, and if you actually select in the notifications to always see notifications, you can actually select it so that you always see my live videos. And my goal is to go at least once a week making something, or at least talking about something. And so I'm in Wasilla, Alaska. I make organic skincare. I'm an avid supporter of plant medicine, and this is what I do. And my dog wants to go outside, so I might have to let him out here in a sec. But here's the deal. I make facial care and some body care, and I studied at the Formula Botanica in the United Kingdom. It's an online program for making organic skincare, and they have hair care and other things as well. The program was originally started by Star Kachara, who's pretty famous, especially in the United Kingdom. And so, of course, I have part of the coursework listed some resources. This is one of her books, the Holistic Beauty book. Now, recently, I'm running low on shampoo, and I have a ton of ingredients. So what I decided to go ahead and do, hold on, baby, is I am going to make my own shampoo from here on forward. And that's usually what ends up happening when I create a new product, right? I'm making something for myself, and it works. So I referenced in here, she has some shampoo, conditioner, and rinse recipes. And what I'll do is I'll read through them, and then I'll kind of jot the notes down and recreate formulations based on like something that is reproducible. And what's cool about making stuff, handcrafted, fresh stuff at home, is you can actually adjust it accordingly to your needs, whatever they might be, right? I have a girlfriend who has dark hair, and I have dark hair too, but I also have some blondes and some reds, so I'm going to do two different recipes today. One, I'm going to make something up for her and prepare it because I told her I would give that to her because she gave me a massage. And I am going to make something for me that's going to be for blonde and red hair because I should be able to get away with that. I mean, it's not like I'm going to get my hair dyed. It's just going to support those color tones that are already in my hair, right? And let me just let my dog out. I'll be right back. Okay, for those of you that are still on, thanks for joining and thanks for waiting. Okay, so I needed shampoo. My girlfriend gave me a massage. I want to make her a shampoo. And I'm just going to learn about shampoos in general, and you're here with me learning. So, what we're going to do first, we're going to do one called Flowers in the Hair. And that's what she calls it, right? So essentially, it's going to be about 50% soapwort root, the name of it. So, in case you didn't know, there are some products out there, soap nuts and soapwort root, that have kind of a light, mellow, sudsy feature. And apparently I've heard recently that yucca root does too, which makes sense to me. Love yucca. So I'm going to study that more so that I don't have to get the harsh cleansers that are in a lot of shampoos, right? And so I happen to have some of this because I was going to do this actually in my coursework. I was looking to make actual body cleansers, but now we're going to use it for a shampoo. And so it is a root, soapwort root, and this is 50%. And now it's in little chunks, so I actually brought out my mortar and pestle for this. Oh, I got to weigh it out first. Normally when I'm in lab making stuff that I'm going to sell to people, I actually wear gloves and I'm not in my kitchen. But this was simpler. And this is for something you're going to make at home, hopefully. So I'm going to, and I see a few folks on there, so feel free to comment, ask questions. I love to engage, so I'll keep an eye out. So I'm going to do just a 100-gram recipe, right? And I have these little 4-ounce jars, and I'm going to put it in here so I can use that for when I'm ready. So the idea of this is I'm going to weigh out all the dried stuff and 100 grams of dry stuff. And then I will add water, hot water onto it when I'm ready to use it. But the dry stuff lasts up to 6 months, right? And then I'll just batch it fresh when I need it. So I am going to weigh out my 50 grams of soapwort root. And you know, I might actually turn that into a 50-gram recipe because I don't want to use all of this right now because I actually have to order these from out of state. So I'm going to make this a 25-gram, which will be, so I do this all the time, so if this gets confusing, I apologize. Feel free to ask questions. I'm happy to explain. But, so that went a little bit over, and normally I would have gloves on, so I would just grab it. So, yeah. So I'm going to just half this recipe. And, oops. See? Of course, I'm on live. Anyway, I don't want to touch this stuff because I'm probably going to use it again. Perfect. 25.1 grams. Okay, so that is going to be, and so I need to go to my lab notebook, right? And it's 50% soapwort root. So I have 25 grams, right? So I'm going to rewrite this out. So I have a 25-gram soapwort root, which means that I want a 12.5 gram of this seaweed called Irish moss. And then I'm going to have 12.5 grams of the dried herbs. And the herbs we select based on what's going to work for our hair, right? So I am going to actually do a mix of chamomile, which is recommended for a blonde or lighter colored hair, and marigold or calendula, which is for a redder colored hair. And so, I mean, and I'm just making a simple shampoo, right? And so, and I have my hair color, I have a mix of all different colors, so I can get away with whatever. And again, it's not like it's going to color, it's just herbs that are suggested to support the tones of your color, of your current hair. So, now I'm going to put this soapwort root into the mortar and pestle. Now, mind you, this is the first time I've actually tried this, so we're learning as we go. And this is what I do, right? The coursework that I took gave us general ideas and ranges of formulations, and then we actually took those and tried different things and found what worked, right? And this soapwort root is not going to crush very easily, so I'm going to go ahead and just keep it like that. The reason I had wanted to crush it is because the recipe recommended this seaweed Irish moss, and it recommended actually breaking it up. And as you can see, I have a powdered Irish moss already. So I was kind of trying to get both of these products kind of similar in texture, right? Which it's all going to go, hot water is going to go all over it all, so it's not too big a deal. So I need 12.5 grams, and I'm going to use a spoon here. Now this one that I'm making is actually for my hair, right? So, and when I make it, it'll be fresh and hopefully be one use. So I'm going to do, okay. That's 11.3. 12.4. Now I had gone a point over on the soapwort root. Oops. So I can go a point under on the Irish moss. So I'm just going to dump that over the top in my glass bowl here. And then I have my herbs, my dried herbs. Now, I am definitely going to try to be careful here because this chamomile flowers is from Mountain Rose Herbs, which is one of the the vendors that I go through, and they are very well known, established as a company that ensures the ethical sourcing of their ingredients, their products. They are involved in fair trade programs, and very, very well known and established. So this is something I'm going to keep using. So I do not want to get my hands too close to it, right? Because I want to keep the bacteria away, because this is going to go into products that I will actually sell. So I'm going to do, okay, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the herbs are a lot more lightweight than the roots or the powder. So this comes out to about 6 is what I'm going to do this at. About 6, and then I'll do 6.5 of the calendula. Okay. So, if you don't know, chamomile tea is amazing, and it smells like, it's also called manzanilla in Spanish. It's just got a really nice smell. Chamomile is a very gentle plant. So I'm going to now go and do the calendula. Now, I had wanted to do rosemary, right? Because for a darker shaded hair, you can use rosemary or black tea, or sage. And I thought I had rosemary, and I wanted to make this for my girlfriend, right? That I told that I was going to actually make her some shampoo, and I wanted to make this one for her, but I don't have the rosemary I thought I had. So what I'm going to have to do is get some rosemary, because I really still want to make her a couple different options, right? Because she gave me a fabulous massage. Her name is Gretchen, by the way. I'll tag her below, Gretchen Holbrook, and she does massage at the Oriental Healing Arts Center in Anchorage. She's also an instructor, and she's fabulous. Okay, so now I have my calendula. Okay, again, this is for my hair, so I don't have gloves, and I'm not too worried about putting my fingers in it right now. But I have my mix here of my soapwort root. Ooh, can you see that? Ooh, that is the Irish moss powder, which definitely smells like a seaweed. So, and all of these things, the Irish moss has some really good cleansing properties, and actually the Rasul clay, which I'll show you here in a minute, also has some cleansing properties, and I actually make a face polish with it as well. Okay, so I have this, my dried herbs, and I am going to put that all in my glass jar for tomorrow when I wash my hair. Like I said, I'm almost out of my own shampoo, and I had quite a few shampoos sitting around, so I've been using them up and then planning to make a shampoo for myself, and I just finally am getting right to the bottom of the shampoo that's in there, and it's a blue shampoo for when I had dyed my hair blonde, so it's kind of like, I'm kind of done with it. I'm kind of over it. So what I'm going to do with this, so now this is actually a half portion here of what had originally been called for shampoo. And so what I will do now, and I'm going to read this for you, because I will hold on to this. This should last up to 6 months like this, right? And so I have it in this jar, right? Or I could put it in a jug. And it says to pour over 300 mils or 10 fluid ounces of hot water. So now this is only 4 ounces, right? So I'm going to want to put it into a bigger container than this, actually. And actually, because I made a half portion here, I can get away with about 150 mils of hot water, or 5 ounces. This is 4, so I may be able to get away with this or something a little bit bigger, right? And so I'm going to pour over boiling hot water over this and stir it occasionally, right? And leave it to cool. Then I will strain this through a muslin lined sieve. And I will push it out with a spoon. right? And at this point, you get a green slime, and you can add whatever essential oils that you might want to add to that, depending on what's going on with your scalp and your hair, depending on what the effect you want from it. And a muslin lined sieve, right? Sieve is like that triangular thing that's on a circle wire. But I would probably pour it through something like this. I have a larger size, and pour it through and squeeze it through into whatever I'm going to use to hold my shampoo, right? And that, when you make it, makes it, yep, okay. So that's supposed to make enough for one shampoo, right? You're not going to get a lot of suds, but you're going to get a really good cleansing effect. Now, then there's also rinse recipes in here, and they all include apple cider vinegar. So I have heard of someone just using apple cider vinegar to rinse their hair, which is probably what I'll do tomorrow. But next week, if you stay tuned, if you like my page, next week I'm going to do a rinse recipe on here. And I will let you know how this goes. I'm excited. And actually, I've been live for a while, so I'm just going to do this really simply here for you. This is another shampoo. It's called Hair Mud. You want to use it fresh, right? So I do happen to have some rosemary hydrosol. When an essential oil is made, the hydrosol is the water byproduct. And puppy's doing okay. So it has some of the properties of the essential oil. So I happen to have rosemary hydrosol. So this is a very simple recipe. It is 50 grams of Rasul clay powder and rosemary hydrosol, 50 mils. This is a 2-ounce bottle, so that's about 50 mils. So I'm going to actually just give this to my girlfriend as is and just weigh out 50 grams of a fresh boat here. I'm going to weigh out 50 grams. Of clay for her. And put it in this jar, and then I'll just seal it and give it to her. And I'll give this to her to try to make fresh. And so what you do, once you weigh out your clay and you have your floral water, and you can do this with a floral infusion too, right? So some of the same plants that I already mentioned, an infusion is just a tea. So you would just boil water and pour it on top of the herbs. It'll steep, and that steeping creates an infusion after like 5 or 10 minutes, right? Then you strain off the plants, and as long as you're using it fresh right away, then you can use the infusion. An infusion, because it has plant material in it, right, versus a hydrosol, which is distilled, the infusion is only going to last 1 to 2 days, even if in the fridge. So I prefer hydrosol, but a hydrosol is actually quite a bit more expensive. At least when you live in Alaska. So I'm going to do 50 grams of Rasul clay here. All right, and then I will give those to her, and what she's going to do is she's going to pour this clay. Well, she probably could just keep it right in this jar. Or pour that into a bowl. Add the floral water, mix it, let it stand for 5 minutes, and stir well. And then, if you need to, add a little bit more of the water, right? If it's not runny enough to be able to wash it or to scrub it through your hair. And that's also when you would add your essential oils, if you're going to add essential oils for. And I had a girl ask me about, I think it was a psoriasis of the scalp of some sort, and she was wondering what she could do for that. And it was in a question in relation to a shampoo, right? And so psoriasis and eczema are one of those things that you really need more information on because they have just different outbreaks, and I'd say they're not necessarily well understood. And so like I would want to do a lot more research on that girl's specific condition before I was to suggest any sort of essential oils for her. And even so, I'm still learning, right? And so, but if you're putting it on your scalp, and as long as you're using safe percentages, like not more than a couple percent of your product, then you can pretty much try most essential oils, right? And so it's not going to kill you to try 1 or 2. But that's another place where this could be really beneficial, right? So I have actually about 52 grams of Russell clay here. I'm going to put that in there. This is for my friend Gretchen. Right? And so, well, these jars are kind of spendy, so I wouldn't do this for just anybody. But this is my girl. As far as just give her a jar like this. And then her rosemary hydrosol, and then she'll pour that in there and mix it up and add more water if necessary, and then take that into the shower and actually rub it through hair, scalp, and then rinse it out well. And let me just say, it does say to leave it on for 1 minute before rinsing, right? So you're going to use that creamy clay and massage it into the head and hair, let it sit for a minute, then rinse it out. And again, if you're just watching this, just joining, go to my page, Just Botanicals, like it, and under the like button, select always see these notifications, and then you will always see my live videos when I do this. And next week, I'll be making a rinse. I just have to order some ingredients first, because there's horsetail, a couple other things in here. So, well, I already have rosemary water, but I'm probably going to need some more of that. There's something called southernwood, which I don't know if there's another name for that, but I haven't heard that yet. Again, I mostly do facial and body care, and I focus mostly on the anti-aging ingredients, or the vibrant aging ingredients. And so I haven't worked with a lot of these sorts of herbs. I do have rosemary essential oil. I'd have to get some dried sage and some horsetail. All of these recipes have horsetail because it's got that silica in it. It's really good for helping you create healthy hair. And cider vinegar. And then we look at and I have some of these ingredients already, but I'm going to want to get the horsetail for sure, and make sure I have enough cider vinegar on hand. So next week we'll do rinses. Again, like my page, Just Botanicals, and select that you always want to see these notifications, and you'll get when I go live. So I have 2 shampoos, the hair mud, and what do they call it? Flowers in the hair, right? So it's just herbs, soapwort root, and Irish moss seaweed. And pretty much it's just 50%, 25%, and 25%. So 50% 50% soapwort root, which is different than soap nuts, which can make another recipe because it also suds, but it's 50% soapwort root because of the sudsiness, and then 25% of the herbs of whatever your hair type might be, and then 25% of the Irish moss seaweed, which is the cleansing ingredient. And then once you pour hot water over that and strain it out and get your green slime, that's when you can add any essential oils depending on what you might need. Hey Christine, nice to see you on there. I don't always get to see who's on there. So thank you all for joining. Go back and watch from the beginning. I will be doing a rinse next week, and like my page, and love you all. Have a good day. Thanks for joining. Bye.